It's Thursday, the 26th of January 2017, and you are listening to the Paul Clark Podcast. So I wanted to do this podcast today. Didn't get to do one yesterday or the day before, so I apologise for that. But I wanted to get this one out there as soon as I possibly could and talk about the two main topics right now, which are that Theresa May, our own Prime Minister, is heading out to America. In fact, she's out there as we speak right now, and tomorrow she will meet with President Trump for the first time. And I think they're going to get along like a house on fire. I think the relationship between our two countries under Theresa May and Donald Trump will be hugely beneficial. I think it will be a relationship that will echo that of Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan. It might even surpass the relationship we had between Tony Blair and George W. Bush. I think it's going to be a very interesting time for both our countries, because both countries are going through some self-realization. Nationalism is in the air for both our countries, for both the UK and the United States. And not just in Britain and America. Nationalism is sweeping the board all across the globe, particularly in Europe. People are rising up. Now, I hear the people that are lambasting Theresa May, and basically saying, how dare she, what is she playing at, going out there and talking to him. What do you expect her to do, you idiots? What do you expect her to do? Huh? She is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He is the President of the most powerful nation on earth. We have always had a relationship, and for the most part, a good relationship between us and the United States. I thought it was a pretty piss-poor relationship, quite frankly, between David Cameron and Barack Obama, but that's quite frankly because if you want my humble opinion now, they were both piss-poor leaders, particularly Barack Obama. He was just, you only have to look at the way he came over here during the referendum and talked down to the United Kingdom and told us how to vote, and basically threatened and said that, look, if the UK vote to leave the European Union, well, there's no guarantee that America's going to have you back. Don't rely on America because you're going to the back of the queue. Well, my boy Trump then comes along and says no, because if he wins, which thank God he did, Britain's going right to the front of the queue. Right now, we need the United States more than ever. And I think Theresa May and Trump are going to have a lot in common, not least because they're both conservatives. They've both got Republican, Tory values. But I think she is leading this country through a very turbulent time, and she's going to be looking to make good, solid deals with other countries. He's a businessman. One of Trump's books is called The Art of the Deal. So I think she's going to have a lot to talk about with President Trump. And I think they're going to get along really, really well. Now, one of the things they may disagree on, which is the other topic that I want to talk about today, is the subject of torture. I think they both will probably disagree on that. But that's fine. That's called life. You agree, you disagree with people. Doesn't stop you having good relations, though. Now, I happen to support the use of torture. I think it's an effective way of extracting information. And I hear the arguments of people. That why should we stoop to their level? Why should we stoop to the level of the terrorists? That's fine. And it's quite a valid point that you make. But look at it like this. Let me paint a hypothetical scenario to you. Say in London, Paris, Berlin or New York, wherever you want, any major populated city, there are bombs that have been planted throughout prime locations in the city. They have the terrorist in custody. But he is refusing to tell you where these bombs are. And you have less than 24 hours. Let's just say you have 2 hours to locate and deactivate these bombs before they go off, before they explode, causing untold damage and killing millions of innocent civilians. You can interrogate the guy all you like, but he's not going to play ball. He's not going to tell you where the bombs are hidden. So what do? Play a game of Scrabble with him? No. You extract the information by any means necessary. It doesn't matter how you do it, be it waterboarding, be it whatever. But as long as you extract that information and he tells you what you need to know, quite frankly, what does it matter? One man, one terrorist who wants to blow up, fundamentally destroy our way of life, versus thousands, tens of thousands of people on the streets of London, Paris, Berlin, or New York. Again, I do hear the arguments of, why do we have to stoop to their level? Well, unfortunately, sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. And if you actually look at what Trump has said, it's actually quite reasonable, and it's not that bad. I mean, the media, again, the mainstream media are an absolute disgrace. No matter what this guy says, they will completely misrepresent him. What he actually said is that he thinks torture is an effective way of extracting information, which is just what I said, and in extreme circumstances, he would have no problem with the American military utilising it. That sounds perfectly reasonable to me. But again, the liberal media, they're in outrage. They think it's an affront to human decency. These people that we are fighting do not value our way of life. They do not respect our way of life. They want to destroy. They want to kill us. And if, by saving millions, tens of thousands, millions of lives in this country, or America, or around the world, we have to adopt some methods that may be morally questionable, but at the end of the day, get the job done, get the results, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. And quite frankly, Guantanamo Bay, which I know was a thing that Barack Obama, when he first took office, said that he was going to close down. He was going to close down Guantanamo Bay. He was going to shut it down. Well, he didn't. He didn't. And, I mean, just look at it like this. Donald Trump has been in power for 1 week now. He took the oath of office. He was inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States a week ago tomorrow. You look at what the man has done in 1 week. You look at what he has done in 1 week. Something which most politicians, most presidents and prime ministers never do, which is actually follow up on what he said. He said that he's going to build a wall. The wall is happening. He said that it's going to be America first, jobs for American people. He has already initiated 2 things in 1 week that will bring tens of thousands of jobs to America. Good for him. He's doing the things he said he would do. Whether you like him or not, whether you agree with the policies or not, you can't fault him there. Surely. And Guantanamo Bay, I think, is a great place. Look, I say a great place. I mean, obviously, look, it's not a tourist attraction, but it's a necessary evil. It's something that we need, because Obama's like, oh, we're going to close it down. Okay, let's just say he was going to close it down. Again, another politician who lied. Says he was going to do it, didn't do it. He didn't do a lot of things, Obama. Didn't do a lot of things. Piss poor president. Worst president that the United States has ever had, by far. By far. So, he says he's going to close Guantanamo Bay. Okay, Barack, let's just say you had done that. What happens to all the terrorists in there? What happens to all the Islamic fundamentalists that are in there? I'll tell you what happens. They're let loose. They go off into the deserts of Afghanistan or Iraq or Pakistan, and they regroup. And they think of other ways to terrorise us. They start plotting again to fly more aeroplanes into our buildings. Probably this time with Madonna at the helm. Because she belongs in Guantanamo Bay. She threatened to blow up the White House. She belongs in Guantanamo Bay. I would have no problem waterboarding Madonna. No problem at all. No problem at all. She threatened an act of terrorism. She threatened to blow up the heart of government, the heart of democracy. That's what that woman threatened to do. And as I said in my previous podcast, could you imagine if some Muslims said that? If some person of ethnic diversity said that? Their feet wouldn't touch the ground. But because it's Madonna, because she's rich, powerful and a celebrity, she can say whatever she wants. If I was the FBI or the CIA, I'd throw her into a van, I'd blimmin' ship her out to Guantanamo Bay, and I'd torture that woman till she tells us what she knows. It's a, so I've lost my trail of thought then. I just think that these people in the mainstream media, the social justice warriors, the people who are constantly trying to demean Trump with every passing day, it's almost like they don't live in the real world. It's almost like they don't actually think of the repercussions of closing down something like Guantanamo Bay. It was set up to lock away and interrogate, by any means necessary, extract information from people who mean us harm, who want to destroy our way of life. And listen, it's a shame that we need something like Guantanamo Bay. It's a shame that waterboarding is a method that has to be used to extract information. But unfortunately, that's the reality. It's all well and good for these celebrities to be outraged by such methods. It's all well and good for the liberal media to be sitting there in their cosy offices, lambasting Trump for everything he does. It's okay for, people to be sitting on the breakfast sofa on BBC Breakfast News or Good Morning America, demeaning Trump for his comments on torture. But just imagine actually being out in the field. Just imagine actually fighting for your country, and your back's up against the wall, and you have to save tens of thousands of lives, and the only method you have got is to torture, is to extract information by any means necessary. I couldn't do it personally. No, I could not. I could not and do not want to torture anybody. But if you put a gun to my head, if you said to me, look, here's Allah Akbar or something, he has got bombs hidden throughout your house, and unless you get the information out of him, you and your family are going to die, I would have no problem extracting that information by any means necessary. Comment below. Let me know what you think on this. I know it's a divisive topic. I've had many debates with people about this in the past. But it's a necessary evil. It's something that only should ever be employed in the most extreme of circumstances. But it's something that, if needed to extract information, then it should be used. It should be utilised to its fullest extent. You've been listening to the Paul Clark Podcast.